Hey guys, welcome to Running Reimagined. For those of you that don't know, my name is Dylan Hopper. I come out with videos every single week that help give you a tip or a trick to improving and hopefully over time transforming your running experience. So today's episode is one of 7 for how you can be able to inject speed into your arsenal, how you can start to build those fast twitch muscles, which is going to enable you to blow past people at the end of races instead of being the person that gets blown past. So this first tip is a pretty common one. A lot of people use it, which is just strides. And a lot of people use strides, but not a lot of people use strides correctly, or they don't use them with deliberate action. A lot of people just kind of like go through the motions of it and don't understand that if you use them correctly and you structure it, they can be a fundamental way to really increase your speed, better improve your form, your efficiency. It's a tremendous tool to make you a better runner. So I kind of like to break up strides. First of all, if you don't know what a stride is, it basically is like a short 50 to 100 meter kind of up tempo just run, and you're just kind of like, you can do it at the beginning to kind of help your body just kind of warm up with things, or you can do it at the end to practice while your body's tired, perfect form, which starts to build that muscle memory. So I like to break up strides into 3 different parts. So there's kind of the build-up phase, the peak phase, and then the deceleration phase. I think that a lot of people always do the peak phase, but not everyone does the build-up phase or the deceleration phase. I see common mistakes on both sides. So the build-up phase, I like to think about it like a 100-meter sprinter. If you're watching a 100-meter sprinter, the gun goes off, they jump out of the blocks, they don't jump straight up, because that would be inefficient and it would totally kill the power that is coming out of the block. I like to think about the build-up phase kind of like the way a sprinter comes out of the blocks. So you're just starting out, you're just kind of like taking those first few strides. You're going to use this for about 25 meters where you're taking yourself at this slow build-up from 0% to maybe like 40, 50% effort. And so it's a real slow phase. You're not trying to do anything quick, which would end up tearing muscles. It's a real slow build-up from like 0 to maybe 50% effort for the first 25 meters. So it's a real easy, get yourself ready to it, get your body ready to start to turn over into something faster. And then once you hit the peak phase, you're going to be at that point where you're up, your eyes are straight ahead, your chin's out, you're starting to hit this perfect, running form with your arms. And you're going to take yourself from like 50% to 65%, 75%, 85%, 90%. This is that point where you start to really hit that peak of the speed that you're trying to hit, and I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so the peak phase lasts for about 50 meters. And then once you kind of go through the peak phase of having perfect form, remember it's super important. You never should take yourself up to a phase, say like 80% effort, 95% effort, if you can't hold your form together, because practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, and you want to make sure that you're taking deliberate action to hold your form together, because that's eventually going to translate to the race, and it's going to build that muscle memory when you don't even realize you're doing it, but you're holding your form together, and that's going to make you a much more efficient runner, which will lead to faster times and also you having more energy at the end of races to finish strong. So this peak phase is to practice perfect form at the speed or the percentage you're trying to hit. Once you kind of get out of the peak phase, you run into the deceleration phase, and this is where I think a lot of runners kind of go wrong, is that I'll see a lot of runners hit their peak and then they just stop, and they'll stop in like 5 or 6 strides. And that's a real easy way to cause some common injuries, because what you're doing is you're going pretty fast. It's when you run a stride and you hit that peak phase, you're running pretty fast for what your body is normally able to handle. And then all of a sudden, when you're trying to stop in 6 meters, you're sticking your heels out in the ground and you start landing out in front of you, and all that sends shockwaves all the way up your arm. And that can run into shin splints, you can run into knee issues, and hip issues, and kind of all sorts of injuries. And so what you want to do is run in this deceleration phase where you did 25 meters of buildup, you did 50 meters in the peak phase, and then this phase is going to last as long as you need it to. And it's basically what it is you're not putting any more effort into that peak phase, and now it's just like a ball that's going to roll until it runs out of momentum. And so you're just going to keep rolling over your legs until you run out of momentum. You're not going to try to stop right away, and you're just going to start to ease, into a stop. This could be 25 meters, this could be 50 meters. It really is dependent on you, but you're just going to let yourself basically take yourself from the effort level that you were going, say you're going 75% to 0, but just by pure momentum drop. And you're not putting any more effort into it, but you're not breaking yourself, and you're not trying to hit your heels into the ground, which is going to cause injury. So those are the 3 phases of a stride. That's how I've used strides properly to increase my speed and then also my form. And it's a tremendous tool to be able to do that. Now, how you can be able to use strides, and I'll give you a kind of a specific kind of workout example that you can be able to take and use after runs. What you want to do is I do 4 strides. I always do 4 strides when I do strides after a run, and I break them down into different percentages. I'll break them down into 60%, 70%, 80%, and then 85%. And so what that means is I usually go, for kind of your more advanced runners, you'll understand this in terms of you'll go your mile pace. So you'll, whatever your mile pace is, I'll go 60% of my mile pace, 70, 80, 85%. If you don't necessarily understand that, kind of just go off your feeling of like what a 60% would be of just your effort level, just running maybe 1 lap around the track. It doesn't need to be scientific. You don't need to have a watch to be able to do this. It's all dependent on your own feeling in the body. But what it does is, instead of jumping straight into it and having to build up on your first stride and then going into 85, 90%, that's going to risk injury. And we don't want to do that. We want to be able to build a healthy runner that's going to, last over time. So that's why you want to start early. It's because you're starting to lubricate the muscles, so then your body is going to start to wake up and it's going to know kind of what's coming. So you're going to go 60%, 70%, 80%, 85%. And now once you hit that last stride and you did 85% effort, then everything's warm now, right? You just did a run, you just did a workout. And now you're going to do these strides afterwards to practice your form. You're deliberately practicing perfect form, and you're going to try to add a little extra speed at the end of a workout. So you just did those 4. Think of those 4 like a warm-up. And now what you're going to do is you're going to do 4 more, and you're going to do them at that 80, 85, 90% effort where you're really kind of pushing yourself, and it's at a speed that is much faster than you'd normally just go out and run, much faster than you normally go out in tempo. And if you can do that, it's going to start to really do those final 4. It's going to really start to be able to build those the fast twitch muscles. And it's also going to start to really, because at that point you're tired, right? You just ran, you did 4 strides, building from 60% to 85%, and now all of a sudden you're gonna really hit the system one more time, and you're gonna tap in, you're gonna have perfect form, and you're gonna go a little bit faster. So that's kind of my tip today about strides. That's how you do strides properly, and then how you can use them at the end of a run to start to build those fast twitch muscles, start to build better form, and you're ultimately going to be a more efficient runner. I would do this after a run maybe once, twice a week max, especially if you're going to incorporate some of these other speed tips. I'd maybe do it once a week, but speed is one of those things that it's just like core. It's one of those things that you have to do consistent if you really want to see results, and it takes time. So that's the tip today. That's how you do strides properly. That's how you can use them to build a faster runner. So I hope you guys enjoyed that today. Have a great day. It's a little bit longer of a video, so take care. And if you like the video, please like it. If there's someone that you feel could use it, please share it with them. So take care, guys.